G'day guys, bonjour, my name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, this is the England Rugby edition. And yes, as always, when we talk about England Rugby, make sure you get your favorite beverage, whether it's 20 pints of Guinness or 2 bottles of red wine. For me, it's always the trusty coffee. And yeah, let's take a sip and let's talk about England Rugby. Oh, yes. Yeah, oh, that's good. That's some good coffee. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, last week I talked about England rugby, how they seemingly to be playing the spreadsheet instead of actually playing the game of rugby. And coming into this game, I actually did quite a bit of research in terms of other sports on how they are playing this, so-called Moneyball. Right? We've all watched the game of the movie, the Moneyball. The idea is that you can use statistics to figure out the best way to play the game, and then essentially unbeatable player style that's going to favor you consistently, and you're going to end up with a statistical edge over your opposition, and you're going to end up with winning consistently as a result of the edge that you've discovered from the statistics. Right now, I've actually looked at the sport of basketball in preparation for this game. Now, in the sport of basketball, I don't watch basketball, to be honest. I just watch people talk about it occasionally, and recently there's a lot of talk about the overemphasis of going for the shooting for three instead of taking an attempt for a 2-pointer. Now, the basketball, there's a lot of people actually complaining about this online. They felt like the game has become stale, and there's just way too many attempts at 3 points, and it's almost like the contest outside of the three, it's almost becoming like neglectable, right? And that really made me think, it's kind of like stuff we're seeing in rugby a little bit, right? They're overly relying on the kicking game. They overly emphasis of putting the ball in the right zone. It's all about getting to the right zone and putting the ball in the right areas and playing in the areas that is statistically most likely for us to win the game. And that is more important than actually playing what's in front of the teams at times. And I felt like I felt like that was a pretty good, I guess, comparison in terms of how the two games has changed in the way that it's being played. Now, obviously, I am not an expert in basketball, so what I say could be, could not be 100% correct. But the general idea is that basketball went from, the Michael Jordan era, where you've probably seen photos where Michael Jordan will have this iconic jump shots where he would just be like inside the 3-pointer area and do a jump shot, a perfect 2-pointer, to nowadays everybody's shooting 3, right? With almost no one does the Michael Jordan jump shots anymore because it's just considered inefficient. It's better for you to just take a step back and do a 3-pointer instead. And as a result, more and more teams have started playing the spreadsheet, the money ball, and it's getting to the point that not only that the game is stale, but a lot of people are starting to argue that the style of shooting for 3 is actually becoming less and less efficient, right? Because when he first started, teams actually had really top quality 3-pointers like Stephen Curry that can deliver ridiculous 3-pointer from just about anywhere inside your half. To nowadays, people are becoming more and more average at doing 3-pointers, and also nowadays that there's a lot of players are getting better and better at defending the 3 because it's the only thing that teams are doing mostly. Defending the 3, so the efficiency that teams are getting out of the 3 are becoming less and less potent than it was when it first was introduced. And not only that, but the teams that are actually playing the game like it was in the 90s, where they are actually starting to shift towards scoring 2 points, are actually catching up in terms of average scores from a team that is overly emphasizing in shooting for 3s. Now, here's the question, right? Here's the conundrum I think a lot of coaches and a lot of, statisticians are still trying to figure out. When the people that initially decided that 3 points was the way to go to play basketball, did they actually find a superior way to play basketball, like a more efficient way to play basketball? Or did they simply figure out that all the other teams are really terrible at defending the 3? That is the conundrum, right? Did they actually, like playing the stats, was it actually like the superior way to play the game of basketball? Or was it just a loophole that you're able to find a weakness you're able to find from the stats and you've exploited to some success, right? So that's kind of like the question I think we need to be asking rugby as well. And I do think that, like, based on the performance in this game, right, the teams are starting to realize playing the spreadsheet. We saw that in the Scotland game as well, and we're seeing teams kicking 3 points less and less. We're seeing that the spreadsheet, overly emphasizing playing the spreadsheet, hasn't really worked out for the tier one nations nowadays, and it's more and more becoming more and more, you know, the weaknesses that everybody seems to be able to see on the spreadsheet, it's really close being minimized, and the game of rugby is starting to go back to other areas that have been, overlooked for the last maybe 10 years. Is starting to becoming more and more, more and more important again, right? We've seen just in this game how important it is to just put sustained pressure. Something England rugby didn't do at all, and they almost won the game because of sustained pressure. Something we the French kicking game, right? The Bielbieri, like, it's just a miracle maker. How did he able to score 4 tries out of nowhere? I don't know, but it's just really, the concept that he has the speed and will put the ball in space and use his speed to get the ball. Just really basic rugby concepts that really, it's almost like everyone's like, wow, like, how brilliant is this? How good is this? It's something that always existed, but it's been overlooked for so long. Now the French team is doing it again. It's like, wow, how, what an amazing, a concept, what an amazing idea. Now you're seeing that people are trying it in Super Rugby, people are trying it in other test nations as well, and trying to do those grubber kicks, down the sideline for the wingers to chase it down. We're starting seeing it more and more in all aspects of the game because they've thrown out the spreadsheet, right? They moved past the spreadsheet and they're starting to look at other areas for an edge, which I think is a really good transition for the sport. And I think that, the sport it's so interesting, it's so good. There's so much depth in the game of rugby. The fact that you can't just solve the game and find the perfect way to play rugby by looking at a spreadsheet, just what make the game the best game in the world, right? I think one of the things that, again, I really think that it's being overlooked, it's the importance of scrummaging and set piece. That is definitely something you cannot sum up in a spreadsheet. And I think that a lot of people think that, oh, this is just a waste of time, including, I heard it, the commentary complain a little bit about a scrum, don't want the scrum to ruin the game. It's just something that I think is really disappointing to hear and just really dilutes the depth and, the depth and, the IQ that is required to actually play the rugby. This is what makes rugby really, really beautiful. Something that you can't just quantify with statistic easily like you might do with other sports. I think that's just a really interesting thing that I looked at this week and want to share with everyone, and you can tell me what you think about that. One statistic I do want to someone to look it up is how many points does the team concede after relinquishing momentum by kicking 3 points. I don't know how many times I've seen this in all different games from at all different levels. A team will be rolling in momentum and then they're like, yep, let's take 3 points. We'll see this guilty so much from the England team. Yep, let's just take 3, take some points on the board. It's definitely better than nothing. And giving up momentum is definitely okay. So I did a bit of a stats myself in this game. So England kicked, France was leading and they kicked the early 3 points and then conceded 13 points unanswered by the English in the first half after they kicked the first 3 points because and relinquishing that momentum, right? And in the second, just before the second half, England kicked 3 points themselves, and after kicking 3 points for the England side, they conceded a yellow card, which was a penalty try on Ellis Genge, and 19 unanswered points after relinquishing the momentum. So again, sometimes I like to question people, begging for 3 points to be taken every opportunity that's given to them. What is the cost? What is the cost? You're relinquishing the momentum. You're giving time for the opposition to play rugby, and time is a valuable commodity. And relinquishing the time to allow the opposition to dictate where the game is played, putting yourselves under pressure, and not only that, mentally you've told your team that we've done enough. let's take a 3 and take a breather. You've mentally also checked out of the game. By doing so, the cost of taking the 3 is often a lot more than just getting 3 points on the board. It's a lot worse than you think. And that's actually one statistic I wanted to probably I want people, maybe someone can look at it and just really I feel like every game I see this, a team takes a 3 only to concede multiple tries in retaliation. And yeah, let me know your thoughts about that, and let me know if that's something that could be looked at into the future. And again, in this game, I really felt the English should have won this one. It's a miracle that Bielbieri scored 4 tries out of, just with his speed and some basic kicking. And the overall structure of the French defense was an absolute mess. Just like last week against Scotland, there was the communication in the back line, the structure in the defensive line was just all over the place with the French. People are overcommitting into the tackle. People are overcommitting in the breakdowns, and then the players are not shifting from one side of the field to the other side of the field fast enough, just leaving gaps open everywhere. And especially if you put some tempo at the breakdown, and suddenly the French defense, everybody's like just an absolute mess all around the place. So I'm not sure what's happening with the French defense, how it's just gone to such big disarray. But boy, maybe some of the changes in the backline, some of the changes bringing in some of the newer players are just not really quite clicking yet for the French side. Obviously there's a lot of the selection is emphasizing on the kicking game, on the speed factor that the team brings. But you can have speed, but if you don't have the structure to utilize that speed, it's really not really working out for the French at all in terms of defense. Now the England side, I thought they were better at the scrummaging, they were better in the line-out set piece, they were better at the breakdowns, and they were better just defensively in terms of structure and in attacking structure as well. Just overall, the England side was actually played a better game of rugby. And I think it's a bit of a miracle that Bielbieri actually pulled this one through for the French. And what can I say? England rugby definitely has the talent, and moving away from the spreadsheet has really, already seen massive results in this one, almost clinching it till the end. I do think that, again, some of the captaincy in terms of managing the game is still a little bit off. Like right at the end there, the French was arguing with the referee where the 3 points should be taken. And the Maori Toji went up to try to talk to the referee. And obviously there's a shot clock, right? As a result of him talking to the referee, confusing the matter and, basically stirring things up, the referee actually didn't start the shot clock. In theory, once the team indicates they're going to kick the 3, the shot clock should have been started. And the fact that the team were arguing where the points should be taken, if Itoji had just stayed out of it, the time would have been expired. But instead, he kind of got involved and kind of forced the referee to not start the shot clock, because it's been perceived that you're trying to disrupt the kick, or trying to delay the kick. It's actually backfired a little bit there. I felt like what Mario Toji has done there. And again, I feel like just way too much shout out to the referee and not really focusing. I just it's not necessary to just try so hard to convince the referee on different things. In fact, there was one point where we haven't got it up anymore, but one point where one of the fourth Bielbieri try, it looked like a deliberate knock on. And the referee said it was a deliberate knock on, a full-on penalty. And the England team basically ran a couple of phases and grubber kicked the ball forward. There was really poor kick forward. And then the referee caught advantage over, and then leading to the French punching the ball down the field. And Bielbieri, ran the ball down and scored a try to really, help the French in a big way towards winning this game. It was really unclear what actually happened. There was no replay, no proper explanation of what happened. I had to actually go back and watch the game myself. The referee actually spoke to TMO after the supposedly deliberate knock on, and the TMO told the referee that it was just a knock on, and the referee said just a knock on, but obviously wasn't clearly indicated to the English players, and English players thought they had a full-on penalty advantage, and then just kicked the ball away, and the referee's just like, yep, that's it. You only have a short arm, kicking the ball away, it's advantage over. And then conceding a try immediately. I think that a lot of England fans will be a little bit tough about that. And again, I do think that it's a bit, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. If the referee has said that it's a full-on penalty, he should have called it back for a full-on penalty, or like at least, you know, given it a scrum for just a knock on back to the England, because there was not much advantage that got out of it from the England side. Yes, they technically kicked it, but they only kicked it under the thought that this was a full-on penalty. But yeah, I thought the England team was a bit hard done by there from the referee, and I think more importantly, this was not clearly conveyed on the TV broadcast. So me watching at home, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I really think that they should have done a little bit better job in terms of presenting the game for the people watching all around the world. Not just, in fact, if the players on the field don't know what happened, how do you expect people watching in the stadium or people watching at home know what is or what has happened there, right? So yeah, interesting game overall. And the game kind of, let's go have a look at that. The game kind of was started with a bit of a colorblind challenge. My goodness, the French had like a baby blue, very pale blue shirt and white shorts, and yeah, and England has full white, and it was a bit of a mess out there, and especially with the long shots. For me, I can't really tell the two colors apart. And when it's closer, when the camera zooms in, I can't see. But in the long far shots, boy, it was just a mess. I can't tell who's playing for who, and I don't know how they could have overlooked this massive colorblind issue. And I'm not even colorblind, and I find it really difficult to tell sometimes who's playing for who. And yeah, it's just mind blowing. Like they changed the red and green for Ireland and Wales because people have red and green color blindness, and yet they literally have two teams wearing pretty much white on both side team, and they somehow, no one thought this was going to be an issue. It was just mind blowing how they manage this stuff in under Six Nations. But yeah, let's have a look at the stats of the game. Let's have a look at how the two team fares on the spreadsheet. 6 tries to 7. So England actually score more tries. Is that even correct? England actually score more tries than the French, and they lost the game. Boy, 323 meters for the French, 400. Like I said, England played a better game. I can't believe that they actually lost. 117 carries for the England, some better carry efficiency. 123 carries for the French. 25 defenders beaten, so that's probably one thing the French did better. 25 defenders beaten for the French, 19 for the English. 12 turnovers conceded against the England, 11 turnover conceded against the French. 156 tackles made for the French, 19 missed tackles. 133 tackles made for the England, 25 missed tackles. So the tackle count is a little bit, definitely can be improved there for the England side. 26 kicks in play for the French, 26 kicks in play for the English. 100% goal kicking. My goodness, and England missed 3. 3 conversions were missed. Boy, if they had just got 1, this would have been a different story, right? This would have been a draw if they just got 1 of that. Oh boy, that is painful. 3 missed out of 7 conversions, and then 1 penalty goal was kicked. 1 charge down on both sides. Kick meters from hand, 700 for the French, 625 for the English. Not too crazy. Sometimes in the last few rounds we've seen English kick well over 1,000, so definitely dial that back a lot for this game. Line-outs, no line-out loss for the French, no line-outs loss for the English, but I do think that the English structure was a lot better, both defensively and offensively in terms of setting up the maul. England did a couple of the plays where they put backs into the maul as well, which saw a lot of efficiency. But I do want to question, did some of those backs join from the side and getting in front of the ball carrier immediately? I do think that the referees need to start climbing down on that, because you actually illegally entered in front of the ball carrier to push the maul forward. But yeah, that's something that I think the referees need to look at, and it's often overlooked. Scrums, 2 scrum lost against the French feed. That's pretty good for England. 2 England scrum, no loss. I do think that on the looser side, Ellis Genji side, the angle that was working against the French was really, really good. There was a number of England obviously did some of the what do you call it? Did like delay feeds to allow the French to go forward, leading into the scrum collapsing, and also penalty for early push as well. Just really a lot of like mind games, a lot of little intricate timing in that scrummaging. I thought England did really, really well in terms of getting a bit of edge there, and I really enjoy that. 11 penalties considered for the French, 1 yellow card. 11 penalties considered for England, 1 yellow card as well. The yellow card for the French was right at the end. They had to play pretty much the last 10 minutes with a yellow card, repeated penalties after warning, and Demba Bamba got sent off for repeated penalties. England also had a prop send-off, which was Ellis Genj deliberately collapsing the maul in front of the try line. And definitely penalty try, yellow card just before halftime as well. So it hurt England quite a bit there as a result. But yeah, this was a really, really entertaining game. A lot of crazy amount of tries. And I do think that, yeah, if you just look at how many tries Bielbieri scored, this would have been, I really think that the French needs, despite the win, they need to, I think Galtier really needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit on how the structure of a team is being presented out there. It was an absolute mess. Like, I honestly think that this was a bit of a miracle that the French actually won the game. And it's just, yeah, it is ridiculous how good Bielbieri actually is as a player, and just how much of a speed advantage this guy has over all the other players on the field, and resulting in 4 tries to the French. And it is quite amazing to watch this guy play. So yeah, 7 minutes into the game, little grubber kick down the sideline from Ramos, pinpoint accurate. The ball literally set up just before he got to the English player, and then Bielbieri caught the ball and then just stepped through the England defender, went in for the try. 7 points to nil. 7 minutes in on the clock. 9 minutes in the game. England is starting to show they're not going to come in and start kicking penalties. They worked the short side. The ball got really compressed all the way down on the right-hand side of the field. The ball spreads out into the open. Just good hands, a little backdoor play, over and a long pass out wide to Roebuck, who went in for the first try for England. Missed the conversion, 7 points to 5. 12 minutes into the game, again, there was a scrum for the French. The ball went out to Jalibert, who grabbed a kick the ball down the sideline. And again, Bielbieri ran through, scooped the ball up. Another easy try, 14 points to 5. 18 minutes in the game. England tried to do a bit of a grabber kick themselves. Not quite executed to the same perfection, but they did get the try. They did grabber kick down, and the what is it? Atisogbe. This guy, he tried to grab the ball before the try line, and he kind of missed. The ball bounced into the end goal, and then Murley grounds the ball for England. 14 points to 10. England gets back, and 21 minutes, the French said, yep, we'll take the 3, take the scoreboard up to 17 to 10, and relinquishing a lot of that momentum, relinquishing a lot of the energy that they had in the game. And sure enough, England Rugby fights back. 25 minutes, they went for the line out, went for a more. A lot of the backs came in, and then the ball got pretty close, and then a couple pick and goes later, Ollie Chesham goes in for the try. 17 points to 17. 32 minutes to get a scrum penalty for England. They go for the line out, crash ball midfield, and then a little quick ball swung back to the short side to where all the forwards are. They get Chesham threw the ball back in field to Coles, who ran in for the try. 17 points to 24. Smith had to do a drop goal here because the ball fell off the tee and it was running out of time, he got this one from the sideline, which was really impressive. Drop kick. And then sure enough, England's leading, lots of momentum, 17 points to 24. Next time England got a penalty, they take the 3. And scoreboard looked better, 27 points to 24, heading to halftime. And then just before halftime, the France had a penalty. They went for the line out, and Ellis Genj got sent off, yellow card penalty try for a pulling down the maul just before the try line. So halftime score, 24 points to 27. Second half starts. Again, the French came out firing, some really good offloading. Adesogbe, what happened here? Adesogbe got a quick ball from Dupont near the rocks and just ran through a little gap, and then eventually the ball quickly swung out to the left hand side of the field, and Bielbieri ran in for his third try. 31 points to 27, and 48 minutes to the game. Lots of city penalties against England. There was offside as well. A quick tap from Dupont. Throws the ball over the top to Atis Sogbe, who went into the corner for a immediate try. 38 points to 27, and that is, like I said before, 19 points conceded after England has taken the 3. Yeah. So after this one, looked like the French were still on the front foot, lots of pressure, and then Ollie Chesham, I think probably man of the match for me, intercept the pass from the French team, and then he ran like 50 meters, 60 meters to score the try as a lock. Just incredible performance, lung-busting performance there from him. 38 points to 32, and wrestling the momentum back. 56 minutes in the game, England just piling in a lot more pressure. They look like they almost lost the ball in the process, but eventually the Smith thinks, Marcus Smith was on the field. He got the ball wide, a little bit dummy and go, went in for the try himself. 28 points to 39. 65 minutes in the game. What happened here? Oh yeah, that's the thing I showed just before. It looked like there was a deliberate knock-on against the French, and the referee, after speaking to the TMO, said it was just a knock-on, but England didn't know this and kicked the ball away, resulting in, I think it was Ramos punting the ball down the field, or maybe it was either Ramos or what's his name? Or Jalibert. They kicked the ball down the field, and then Bielbieri just ran faster than everybody else, got there first, and get the try on the ball for the French. 45 points to 39. And to a lot of English confusion. 73 minutes, there was a repeated penalty warning, and then Demba Bamba got sent off for a yellow card. And then 75 minutes, England wasn't able to score. And 76 minutes, England finally, after huge pressure midfield, pounding against the French line, Tommy Freeman got a flat ball. Again, the French defense was bumping into the midfield. Tommy Freeman just got a flat ball, ran straight through under the post. England ticks ahead, 46 points to 45. With a couple of minutes left on the clock, the French needs a penalty. And basically, there was a French kickoff. England kicked the ball back, which I thought was surprising considering there was only like a minute left on the clock. They wanted to play defense, but sure enough. And then immediately, the French got into the England half. There was a penalty for high shot, and then deliberate knock-on from Mario Toji. Lots of chatter. Where the penalty is? Where is the penalty, sir? Where is the penalty? I do think that the French probably wanted to take the head shot, the high shot, because that was in the middle of the field. But eventually, Ramos was just like, yeah, we'll just take whatever, the deliberate knock-on, which was near the side. But still, Ramos is such a good kicker. It doesn't really matter. He punts this one straight down middle of the field to clinch the win for the French and the Six Nations title, snatching it away from the Irish, 48 points to 46. And yeah, that's the final game. Let me know your thoughts about this match, and let me know your thoughts about where the England team is going to go heading into the future. And let me know your thoughts on playing the spreadsheet and how you feel about the French defense, which I think is pretty bad. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one. Cheers.